If you're a fan of the Sly Guy podcast and you want a little bit more slyness in your week, because this one solo podcast is not enough, you can head on over to patreon.com/Sly Guy podcast, where you can bolster your week with the extra Sly Guy podcast. Dog Walks with Davey, guest episodes, historical episodes of other one-off podcasts such as the Serial Killing podcast or the Champions League of Weird. On top of that, if you want to be a top tier patron, you can look back at some of my previous little clips, tasters, including my hour-long Pillow Talk show from the Ulster Hall last December. All that's at patreon.com/Sly Guy podcast. It helps me look after my kids, guys. Alright, you get to support me and I appreciate it. Guys, I'm back in the Ulster Hall with my new show, Bits and Pieces, on the 10th of September 2022. Guess what's happened this week, guys? That's right, balcony tickets are now available for the show. So if you want to see me from above, if you want to see this big ball bounce from above that, you know, Ben's not doing lighting for, hopefully, you can do that by going to ulsterhall.com or .co.uk or whatever the hell their website. Google Dave Elliott Ulster Hall, it'll appear. You can get it from Ticketmaster, from the Ulster Hall website, or you can follow all the links in my bios, and that's how you can get that fucking swag. Is that what they get? That swag, guys. Get the swag. The Ulster Hall website. Bits and pieces. The Sly Guy podcast is brought to you by NI Takeaway Awards Best Burger Takeaway 2022. That's right, Phat Bastrd Burger. Wagyu Burger Bar. It says Wagyu Burger Bar underneath that. I never noticed that before. Thought I was going to say established, but it doesn't. Right here in the Kingdom of North Down, Phat Bastrd Burger lives in the High Street in Bangor, in the same premises as Bebe Adriano's, who, oh no, have just won Best Healthy Takeaway 2022. And I think, in fact, Best Mexican 2022 as well. The awards keep coming, and for a reason. Taste is king. And Phat Bastrd Burger and Bebe Adriano's are king. That's right, the number one burger in the country sponsors the number one solo podcast in the country, you know. But I don't know why I pointed myself there. Phat Bastrd Burger, cheesy Phat Bastrd Burger, porky Phat Bastrd Burger, the crazy for cock burger if you like chicken. And there's also a cauliflower burger, which is like cauliflower. It's a wee pun, it's very well done, but it's for vegetarians as well. All delicious. The High Street in Bangor site. Davey sent you. Check them out on social media. Follow them on Facebook at Bastrd Burger, BASTRD Burger, and on Instagram at Phat Bastrd Burger. And remember, Bastrd doesn't have an A in it, apart from it doesn't have the second A. It's got the first A, BA, but it doesn't have the second A. It's BASTRD. Check them out. Follow them. They're NI's best burger. You can get 20% off if you sign up onto their app. First time purchases could be 10%, who knows, but this is the beauty of the world. You find out things when you get to it, and that's what makes life exciting. The Sly Guy podcast is, as always, brought to you by Modest Beer. Modest Beer is an independent brewery originating right here in Hollywood, County Down, North Down. And what do you look for in a beer? Let me ask. I'm going to say Pilsners, IPAs, Stouts. You want to see what all the fuss is about? Go to www.modestbeer.co.uk or follow Modest on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook at Modest Beer. I would recommend you go over to their website though, as I said, www.modestbeer.co.uk, to check out some of that sweet merch that they've got themselves. It's there. It's going to be sexy. Modest Beer. Yum.
I'm the Sly Guy.
Hello and welcome to the Sly Guy podcast. On this, the week where the sitcom blap of William of Orangedale has been released. It's on all four. It's on More 4. Guys, please check it out. William of Orangedale. People are probably going to go, why is it Orangedale, not Orangefield? Hey, because it was initially Orangefield, then we realised we wanted it to be set somewhere fictional, because Orangedale can be as gritty and as rank as we want. Orangefield is quite nice. So there we go. We kept the pun going. Whatever. But it's the first sitcom, I guess, that I have been involved in writing from inception. Like, I had the idea just sitting, I think in my dining room, probably. I was like, that would be quite good as an idea for a sitcom. got on the phone to William. I was like, William, what do you think? And he's like, yeah, sounds a good idea. And then we got to writing it. It happened. It's there, and now it's out. We've gone through the whole process of development, writing, delivering it. So it's there for you to see more for. William of Orangedale. It was so much fun to do. The project was really exciting. It'll be out, if you listen to this on Thursday, it'll be out tomorrow. If you listen to this on Friday, it's out today. Please go check it out. Any support that we have would really help. You know, if you like it, great, and I hope you will, because I'm proud of it. I think it's a really funny short, and I think, you know, there's so much more. There's so many more places we could take it if, by the grace of God, people support it, and it does well. So again, thanks to everyone that's been involved in getting it this far. Hope you guys love it. Please check it out. William of Orangedale on More 4 and All 4 now. That's really all. This week's podcast is another amalgamation of the guests. I would say we're not calling it the best of the guest episode, because what people have been doing is being like, well, if you get the best of the guest episodes on regular YouTube and on regular SoundCloud and regular Spotify, Apples, you know, who says Apples? If you get on regular Apples, why would we subscribe to Patreon? Because it's not actually the best of the guests. None of the juicy stuff is in this. It's just a nice listen, some good guests, but it's not the juice. If you want the juice, get on over to patreon.com/SLY GUY podcast. But this week's episode, it has, you know, again, all the guest episodes have been great. I've loved every single one of them. It's been fun to chat to people, bit different, and you know, we're enjoying it over there. The Patreons are enjoying it. We're at an all-time high with patrons, all-time high with listens to the podcast. So you fucking nerds are writing comments, this is RIP SLY GUY podcast, suck my balls. We're an all-time high, guys. We're flying to the sky. Haters are gonna hate. But if you want to know more, head on over to patreon.com/SLY GUY podcast, see a full episodes. But this week's episode features cuts off guest episodes with Andrew Ryan, Shane Todd, Aaron Butler, and the double header, the spit roast episode with Tyrone McKenna and Sean Hegarty. So guys, listen, enjoy the episode. Let me know what you think of it. Do you want to see more? Take care. Watch the blab. Do you remember the fight between Thor and Eddie Hall? Like, they had bigged up his whole fight. Eddie Hall's like, I'm gonna fucking wreck him, I'm gonna knock him. Like, and you're watching his training, going like, he's just fucking smart. Then you watch Thor's actually trained the boxing, and you see the way he's like actually punching, and you're like, oh, and before you're like, he's gonna win. Like, he's
just
definitely
that.
gonna
He was underdog.
Yeah,
Is that what you did?
yeah. But like, Eddie Hall's going like, you know, neck down, just all tense. Whereas
I knew straight away Thor was winning. He was the boogie's underdog.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, that's money, mate.
But see those sort of fights, like, they're too fucking big and like, it's just wild. Like, if they hit, it's gonna be.
Actually, there was a big street fight after that fight.
With like the fans or with
Thor?
Yeah.
Thor and Eddie Hall and their wee teams must be giving each other shit.
Yeah.
I just went to bed, I was reason. It
Missed
was right where I was fucking drinking.
No, that's like that.
But
That
you got
was.
I fought right before.
Yeah.
Like a few hours before.
And were they the main event of your card?
No, it's kind of weird. So we had our card, and it was on during the day, and then when we finished,
Prograde that was.
the program one, then they went in, and they new set of fans, new production.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Then did Stephen Ward fight him? Like,
Fought who?
that fought Thor.
Did he?
Yeah.
But it wasn't like
An exhibition fight or
Yeah.
something,
an
was it?
exhibition field.
I think I remember now.
But
it was big gloves and stuff.
Yeah, but even so, he's just like. But again, when you're watching it, you're like, if you're gonna go and do a boxing fight, you have to. You need to just be like, well, I need to learn from scratch. Whereas Eddie Hall's like, I'm just gonna get big and strong and knock him. But like no
I didn't
way.
even get to see the fight. What was it like?
It was all right.
It was better than what I expected. I just watched a few wee sort of highlight clips, but it seemed better than what I thought it was going to be.
Like, if you looked at Thor, you'd be like, oh, he's boxed. You know, whereas Eddie Hall not so much. And like, it was like, I remember I went to a couple of white collar fights, and you're like, nah. Like, this is just people just fucking like all the training, and then it starts. You're like, it all goes out the window.
Yeah,
whereas
exactly it,
you know, whereas very much with Thor, it was like, no, he's like, you know, he's jabbing, he's moving, he's like, he looks like a big freaky
he's
boxer.
An athlete, like, he's done basketball and all that, so
Yeah.
he's athletic.
And even like to see the like, I remember watching a documentary about Eddie Hall, how like done like physicals on him to be world's strongest man. He's like, well, you're actually like this machine that put him through to like assess his bone density and all. Like, your frame on the weight in your frame's not good. Like, it's far too big for what the frame is. And they were like, you should probably be like fucking 15 stone or something if you're, you know, and he was something like 30 stone at the time. So they're like, win the strongman and then lose the weight, because otherwise your heart's not going to be able to take it. And I think like with Thor, to get that his size, like, he was the biggest strongman ever. To get like the shape he's in now is unbelievable.
He lost one of me. He lost 70 kilo.
Which is madness, like.
Madness.
And then you see, like, because that's what people were saying, that Eddie Hall's thicker looking on him, and but Thor's still heavier and still.
What height is he too? He must be 6'6"
or 6'8". Yeah, he's huge.
Would you rather be your size now or very skinny?
Well, my like, what? No, hold on. In what way do you mean this? Like, do you mean like my entire bone structure is changed and they're like making me a skinny guy, or do you mean like I look like I'm in the Dallas Buyers Club? Like,
remember I was Pete Crones?
Yes.
Would you rather be that size?
He sounds like he's in Fallout Boy, Pete Crones. Would I rather be? No, because...
Would you rather be Pete Crones, or would you rather be high by BMI?
I mean, I'd rather be high by BMI, I would say. I mean, there's a game show, UCNI. Do you want to be Pete Crones or high by BMI?
You've got to guess if the guy's on drugs, it's sexuality, and how fat he is.
The only way to do that game would be cut out like a little square, and you can only put this part of your face in, is the only way you can tell. And then you have to guess.
That's good, because sometimes you see a guy's like eyes, nose and mouth and think he is really fat, but sometimes they aren't. Like,
for example, I'm looking at people who, if you saw William Thompson square, you'd be like, he's a wee fatty. He just has like a round face. You know, whereas if you saw somebody like...
But William is a wee skinny fat guy.
Yeah. But you would think off of that portion of his face, fat guy.
Yeah.
You know, you'd think, oh no, it's going to be... And then it would pull away. You'd be like, that's disappointing.
Yeah.
You know, much smaller.
And who works the other way? Like, is there anyone that's really fat that you would look at just the features and think, oh, he's probably skinny guy?
I don't really... Who would be? Are we talking comedians or just
anything, bro?
Oh, that's a hard one. I mean, I see your features are like long and pointed. You look like a New York apartment. You know,
New York appointment? What do you mean? I gotta go at 4 o'clock to see.
I tell you what, a New York appointment sounds like something you could definitely. That's how you get out of like doing podcasts. You're like, I need to go. I've got a New York appointment.
New York appointment's the name of the new Pet Shop Boys album. Sorry. Let's rewind. You think my features look like a New York apartment?
Yeah, you're very angular, like a stylish New York apartment. Everything's angled, it's sharp. You know, everything's very pointy. Like
you look like the Pentagon.
That's still sharp. I think I look more like the Gherkin in London, just like round, stinking.
No, you're not the Gherkin. The Gherkin's quite like long and
What's a short, fat building? I look like the top of a mosque, just the dome of the mosque.
No, I've never tried Tet Milk.
No,
I should.
It turns
if there's any ladies out there that want to volunteer their Tet Milk to me, I'll have a sip.
I mean, there you heard it here first one.
Only if it's Catholic though and homogenized.
From a cup or from the source?
Oh no, I ain't got to go from a cup. From the source. From the source.
Like, could you imagine? Have you seen Me, Myself and Irene? The film?
Yeah,
just like that.
Yeah.
But
no, I'd be gentle with it.
No, I'm turned by breast milk. You know, were you not fed by the breast back in the day?
I wasn't. I've never had a drop of titlet milk.
Well, I mean, you know what? Fucking bucket list it, mate. This is what you need. You need to be a breast milk guy. But I had a moment. I just was totally turned. Like, I don't. Obviously, it's such a natural, wonderful thing if you can breastfeed, of course. You know, I understand that, I respect it, but there's a difference between breast milk that goes directly from source to the baby than there is from breast milk that gets sucked out of a pump, then put into a wee thing, then put into a bag and placed in a fridge.
Oh really?
Gross. Because it's cold. I don't like the idea of it. And there's a night whenever Holly was a baby, like she's my first one, I had to get up all tired, make her a bottle. I got up in these fucking sachets of breast milk. They're like, you know, they're like Capri Sun, that sort of that's the bag set.
I like Capri Sun,
but it moves about, you know what I mean? The bag, it's hard to
that's
the carton.
Hard.
So I got it and I had to cut this carton and I had to pour it in the cup, and I was fucking so tired it spilt everywhere and it was dripping breast milk all over my worktops and all, and it was on my hands, it was just turning me and all. I was like, ugh. I just didn't like it.
Yeah, I mean
that's kind of put me off. Like, so cold breast milk, not a fan. And as well, it's not like white like milk. There's a wee yellow tinge to it, and it just turns me for whatever reason.
I'm sure I could buy some somewhere. There's bound to be someone's bound to be selling some.
But I decided to go on holiday for the first time ever on my own. I had like I said I want to go away for 2 nights. Have you ever gone on holiday on your own?
No.
But you have kids and stuff.
Yeah.
So you'll never be able to do anything on your own ever again.
That's what I'm doing now. Work. I'm going to try and book gigs myself.
Yeah.
Or book a holiday and then just get ring.
I'm not married. I've no kids, so basically I can kind of like do what I want. Very lucky, touch wood, that stays that way. But I decided I'd treat myself to a holiday, and I wanted to go to Budapest. So I booked to go to Budapest on my own. Never been anywhere on my own before. I was actually really kind of nervous about it. And all my friends, married, jobs, money, it was just like, you're at that point in your life, you're like, I'm just going to have to go on my own because I can't get anyone to go with me. So I went, treated myself to a nice 5-star hotel, arrived in Budapest, and then checked in, went down to the bar in the hotel. I got in for like lunchtime, wasn't allowed into the room until 2 o'clock, so I sat in the bar and started talking to the bar staff. Hi, how are you? I'm here on my own for 2 days. Can you recommend some bars? And I started to write them down on my phone and my notes. And then I went next door and had a pint next door, this little cafe, got chatting to a waiter. I was on my own. I was like, hey man, how are you? Are you Hungarian? And he was like, no, I'm Italian. And I was like, oh great. I said, I'm just here 2 days. And we went, where would you recommend to go for a drink? And the guy was like, well, I finish in a couple of hours. You want to hang out?
Yeah. Love that.
And I tell you, ended up going to a couple of bars, really good fun. Following day, did a load of walking, did all that kind of stuff. Typed in comedy night in Budapest. Found out there was an English speaking comedy that night in Budapest. Messaged the guy, the promoter, at say 11 in the morning. He put me on. Got home 4 a.m. that night after the gig.
Good
went
gig.
out afterwards. I had the best 2 days crack. On my own. It's all because I just went into a place. Hi, how are you?
You know those bottles that they say stop the baby's having like colic or wind? It's got like a wee. And I've done one of them. This is with Holly, so it was the first one, and she had bad like fucking colic and wind and all, and then obviously that was tears. And so we got these bottles. My mum got me and was like, oh, you do this and then it stops. So I was like, all right, no problem. So making that up, and I put the water in, and then when I shook it, it started fucking shaking milk everywhere. And I was just like, no, this is. And I said to Catherine, I was like, am I fucking up this bottle? And baby screaming. She goes, no, you just do it. So I did it again, slightly cooler, tightened it, was like, this will be grand, shook it everywhere. I fucking lost it again. But then I hit myself, both hands, so like in another room, you know when you're so raged but you don't want them to know, and I hit myself so hard on the knees, I thought I'd broken both my knees and both my hands, and I was on the ground being like, what am I going to do here? And I was so sore. And I do think, like, I think I broke my hand in that particular, but then you walk into the room again, you're like, oh, it's all grand, I just need to nip the shop in another bottle here. Would you be on the lookout for new beverages?
I'm on the lookout for new beverages, and I'm on the lookout for new jackets or clothing wear that I can wear on stage. Right. So if anyone ever sees anything, and I do get people DM me ridiculous clothing, but it has to be a fine balance between ridiculousness and also, get away with it. Yeah. You know what I mean? It can't be totally ridiculous.
You know what I would like you to do?
Sure.
I would like you to, when you have your first big solo show.
Yep.
I want you to get I want you to spend a bit of money. I want you to get like a proper, like The Rock in the 90s, like a proper Versace shirt. Like,
I'd love that.
We're talking about $1,000 on this shirt.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to wear it open. You can have a button or two in.
Yeah. But I'm well aware that when I do my first show, I will make zero money on it, and I will probably owe money on it.
Hey man, listen. Welcome to my world. When I did Ulster Hall. Fuck me. I would get angry about it.
I'm on the border, literally, like I think my back garden might be in East Belfast and my front garden might be in Hollywood. So when people, just for the sake of making it easier for people, I just say Hollywood because it's an easier word to say rather than Knocknagonie.
Yeah, true.
And it also sounds better. There's less letters in it.
You're like the local Slab Murphy. You've got property in both. Over the border.
It's like I'm going to go out to the Irish border, not the Irish border, well, the border and Ireland. I don't see. This is the thing about living up here is that one thing I've learned about living up here is you've got Northern Ireland, the north of Ireland, Ulster, Free State, the south, Southern Ireland, Republic of Ireland, Fenian, all this kind of stuff. I think to myself, I don't know sometimes because I'm just from Cork. So when I was growing up, I would just go, oh yeah, up in Northern Ireland. But you say Northern Ireland to some people, they go, it's not Northern Ireland. Yeah, it's the north of Ireland. I go, right. So I live here in the north of Ireland, and then they go, it's actually Northern Ireland. I'm like, I can't fucking deal with this.
You know what? There used to be a point. I think like I'm from a mixed marriage, so my mum is in the IRA, my dad's in the UVF, and I'm, sort of just in the way they didn't really approach me either side. So I was very much brought up to make my own kind of choices, and I always remember
that he's a Buddhist.
I mean, I have the look of a Buddha himself.
You look like the kind of guy that would rent a room in a temple.
And deal drugs for the Albanian mafia.
You're on my Instagram story last night.
Doing what?
You're in Lavery's comedy club. Just being on stage, just being like a
my natural habitat.
Large guy,
yeah. Like, that's not very nice, right? Listen, you're sitting here.
But surely you don't think you're a small guy.
You're sitting here dressed as a furniture removal guy, giving me grief for being a large. People call it stage presence. All right, I was just being up there, with a high BMI, being a funny guy. There you go. There's a poster quote. Funny guy.
Is that an airline BMI?
BMI? Is it BI? No, British Airways BA.
And there's Fly B.
Yeah, and they're not BMI is just like a fucking airplane, 4 seats, and they're all grossly obese guys who have to get craned in, and I'm one of them. Like, my wee one tried to grab my dick the other day when I was doing a shit, so she came in, was kind of like, and I was like, and I was like,
but start knocking the door.
But that's like, you see, that's what I first like. My wife immediately when we moved in together was just like, oh, there's no point in having a lock in the door, and now there's no lock on our bathroom door.
My missus like it as well.
Yeah.
She never locks the door.
Never, but then it's got to the point that if you did lock the door, then the questions will come to what are you doing in there? And I mean, obviously, it's wanking like that. So, like, the only thing you're going to be doing in there with the door locked, is that. So our doors are just fully open. And then now the 4-year-old, she can open the door. So even if you do close the door, like, that was the sign for doors shut, don't come in. There was one day, like, not that long ago, I was in the shower, just getting ready to come and do a gig. And I was in the shower door, like, our bathroom's not big, like, all 3 of them and the dog were in the bathroom, and I just turn around and go, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing in here? And then Catherine's like, oh, I need to go to the toilet. And I was like, what are these 2 freaks? And like, well, they were just trying to pull each other's hair, and the dog was just fucking. I was like, I get no peace. Like, what are you doing? And it was
were you mid shit? Like,
yeah, no, in the shower.
Oh, you're in the shower. You're in the shower.
It's just.
It's so interesting to be up here, because I never grew up here, so to me it's not a lived experience. To me, I did history in Ireland up until I was 18, did Irish history. I obviously know
the Republic of Irish history.
Well, I obviously know the history up here, but I've never lived through that, so I don't really have. I'm kind of like happy with everyone because I realise everyone's been through some serious shit up here, and I think sometimes in the South or the Republic or Ireland or the European Union, whatever you fucking want to call it.
Yeah, we'll get it stubbed over to
get it stubbed. I think, and I mean this now. There's a lot of people in Ireland. Not all people. Some people they very rude about the North of Ireland, because they think, oh, it's fucking Northerners, man. They're all just a load of fucking trouble and all that. But actually, when you're up here and you're living here, I feel safer here than this is probably the safest place I've ever lived. Where I'm from in Cork, 2 people were stabbed in the village I'm in Cork last month. Like when there was a riot here last summer, my family texted me and they said, like, oh, are you okay? And I was like, it's 5 miles away. Yeah. And secondly, I'm in Hollywood. The last time there was a riot in Hollywood, someone got oat milk instead of almond milk in their coffee. Like, you know what I mean?
Listen, and that's very warranted.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So, like, I think everyone needs to just calm the fuck down. This place is perfectly normal.
I prefer, if I could get away with putting ice in my cereal, I would. Yeah. Because I like everything cold apart from this because it's warm. But like if I'm drinking something like this, and this feels lovely and cold by the way,
I had to have it to Butler standards.
Let me tell you what I've started doing, because obviously I'm rehearsing at the minute for this musical, and the rehearsal days are like 68 hours or whatever.
68 hours?
68 hours a day.
Jesus Christ.
Like 6 to 8
you're
hours.
Like stomping on Molly May. You're like, fuck it.
There's 68 hours in a day, guys.
Hours.
You gotta get it done. And because of that time, if you bring a drink with you, obviously it's not going to maintain its coldness over time. So what have I done? I have purchased a cooler bag and ice blocks that go in my freezer the night before rehearsal, and then I put my drinks in the cooler bag, and I'm lifting them out at like 8 o'clock at night after being there all day. They're freezing cold, and people are going,
and what is he drinking?
Is he doing that? I bring 2 of these.
Can of water?
2 tins of water.
Do you still have a lot left?
I buy 3 cases every 2 months.
There you go, terrific.
Yeah, I still, anytime I run out, I just buy 3 cases off Amazon for like 70 quid. Nice. Worth every penny. Yeah. And then I bring 2 of those, and I bring 2 Sprite Zeros.
Nice.
Sprite Zero is a good one at the minute.
See, like in this like clips era, where it's all about clips and short clips, I am sure from the episodes we did, and we did well over 100, did we?
Oh yeah. 150. Our last live was 150.
I'm sure there are thousands of potential clips, but then we are so good, in my opinion, at going back and forth that you would look for like a clip, but the bit goes on for 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
I say a bit, you say a bit, and we bat it back
Yeah.
and forth. But like, because some of the phone calls and stuff we did, like I've tried to edit those into shorter clips, and you just can't get across the kind of funniness of it.
How old are your kids?
8 and 9.
8 and 9.
They're pretty
Boys,
easy,
girls.
like, to be honest.
Are the boys or the girls?
One of each.
One of each. Yeah.
And that's
full
you
house.
done, is it? No more? Yeah.
Yeah. Done.
Perfect, isn't it? Boy and a girl.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well,
8 and 9, they're doing everything themselves now. It's go out of the house and play with their mates or be on their iPads. You barely even see them.
yeah. See, I
You can
look,
send them to the shop now. Like, here, go to the shop and give me juice.
Yeah.
I have to go and do it. It's unbelievable.
and
That's how
you
clean cut he is.
and,
Just
yeah.
go and get me juice.
Go and get. I love that
That's as
'cause-
hardcore as it goes.
and you are what I would say bit of a psycho. Like what you've done, you're past it, and then you've done it again. Like
You actually told me last
Started.
week.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I know 3 boys. Oldest turned 18 there in January, which is a bit weird. But as long as I can beat him in a fight, I'm happy
Yeah.
enough. Do you know?
Can you
I
read
just-
them in a football?
We'll see.
Is he
We'll
bigger
see.
than you?
No, but I do have to go on my tiptoes to hug him. But
yeah.
you know, back to back. I'm
What you
way
should do,
taller.
like if you're gonna beat him, like you never want to really have to come to blows. What you should do is when you should still kiss him on the lips that way to say, listen, I'm a daddy, and no matter how big you are, I'm still sticking him on the lips like here, so you may watch it.
In front of his mates. Oh,
I
yeah.
know. Listen, come get daddy a kiss here. I say it to young boys too, but and I say of age. I just want to point that out. People are like, what's going on?
I have one. So I imported some Cokes from America recently. The
This is just this world that you live in is tremendous.
It's-
like cans of water created in every month, and now you've got these bespoke Cokes from America.
They're beautiful. If you're ever around, I'll let you have one. One is orange vanilla, and they're from the States. But
That sounds like a pimp.
orange vanilla.
Orange vanilla is going to
Orange
get you
vanilla,
some girls.
baby.
Orange vanilla is going to get your dick sucked. But if you don't pay Orange vanilla the money, you'll bite it
Well,
off.
if you don't like orange vanilla, you might like his little brother, cherry vanilla.
Oh wow!
Because
no,
there's
cherry
a-
vanilla is his number one bitch. he's the one with the long nail. You know what the problem is too, though. There's such a gap between
Your front teeth.
you come to me into my studio
Undefeated.
and say that to me
No, don't look
Look
me
at
up
you.
and down. Don't
Look
look me
at
up
you.
and down.
like some sort of khaki rent boy. I hate you.
Yeah.
That's really hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
And see, whenever I go to Turkey and get my hair and my teeth done, you'll be scundered. I look like a BG, but you'll be embarrassed.
My daughter tried to catch my piss the other day. Do you hear anything like this? No.
Well, why was you in that vicinity?
I'll tell you right. So see when you're like home alone, like you and your daughter, or you're minding your kids,
That's a weird start.
and then there's a man out the front and he's shoveling snow, and you're afraid of him. So like, obviously, when you're on your own with your kids, you can't lock the door and just whip your phone out and 20 minutes pass and you stand up and you've dead legs.
Yeah.
You know, which you do if somebody else is home. But when you're home alone, you have to leave the door open.
Yeah.
So I'm going to the toilet standing up, obviously, right? And which is weird because I was taking a shit. But no, I was going for a piss, right? And my daughter came in through the door, and I was like, "Wait, you know, you don't go around there. You're going to see
Yeah.
Daddy's goods." Do you know what I mean? And then she tried to go around the other way.
Daddy's goods or his gooch?
goods.
What
Not
was
a that's
she
legit. Another child, I'll be making me own gooch. And I was pissing away, and I thought she had gone, and then next thing, this wee hand comes between my legs,
Yeah.
and she's like this here, trying to fucking catch the golden juice.
Yeah. Please read that.
All right, so it's as if it's Michael Jackson's Instagram page, right? And he's messaging going, "Hey, it's Michael Jackson. I'm messaging you from a private account. I'm not really dead. Can you cash out me $600 so I can come back to put out more music?" And then he sends a new message that just says, "He."
Like that's going to make you believe. Oh fuck, that's not Michael. Oh yeah, it is.
If
Sorry.
that
My
person gets the money they deserve, they get
Yeah,
the money
but
for
it's not actually
the-
Michael Jackson. It's Toby Morton.
Right, okay. So 6 years of your life,
Which means if people do the math, I have a bastard child. You know. Oh yeah.
you did not. You
Yeah.
did that before
listen.
God accepted you.
I know. Listen, I'm sorry.
Well, I will not be on this podcast again because the Lord. Well, do you ever see those videos on TikTok where they go like, like from the 80s or the 90s, and they speak to preachers, and there was a kid in America, and he just said to this woman, well, what if I want to have sex before I am married? And the preacher went, well, you gotta be prepared to die. I was just like...
And didn't you used to do a thing before? It was like you and a couple of other like guys who didn't go by the real names, called like
Audio
Nerd
Picnic?
Kitchen or something. All right, well,
Nerd Kitchen?
That was a genuine. I thought not Nerd Kitchen.
No, it wasn't Nerd Kitchen.
Well,
It was Audio Picnic, which is nerdier than Nerd Kitchen.
What was an audio picnic? I'd be so gutted. If someone to me, Jack, go to a picnic. Oh, why? And then you turn up and these
It's an audio picnic. You just eating wavelengths. It's not a group that I was kind of on the fringes of it, I would say, and it was like I'm talking about it like it's a militia. Oh, do you want some food in the Nerd Kitchen?
It was my idea, wasn't it? It was. I just sort of DM'd him out of the blue.
And asked them, use her a couple.
Slid straight in. Yeah.
Slid in and all use her together, which is nice. And I mean, fair play to you.
Yeah.
It's a different combo, I think. You know, when you see everybody out there, it's all comedian, and you know, I was like, I want to try something different, and I.
But off the top, what are you going to be doing? What's the story?
Podcast?
A podcast, right? Because people are going, it's comedian and boxer again. And it's always comedian. We want to mix it up, and people are like, what? What he's
I'll
doing?
be honest with you, Tyrone asked me that same question 20 minutes ago. So we're going to record our first episode tomorrow, but it's pretty much just going to be us talking about our lives, talking about, like, obviously Tyrone was in Dubai 2 weeks ago fighting, so we're going to talk about that, talk about the build up, talk about, you know, my interest in boxing, his interest in comedy. Yeah, we both have kids. I support Liverpool, he supports Everton. It's match.
So not talking about football then, at the minute, no.
I'm happy to, but he doesn't want to.
I support Arsenal, so I mean, I'm just kind of like I'm neutral. I'm like Switzerland. No one cares. Arsenal are just there. Like they're never going to win anything. They're just they're fucking. And then you think, is there going to be top four? Nah, dick 3-0 by Palace. That's.
Been doing the singing rehearsals, so my voice is very shot at the minute.
I've doing the blowjobs as well.
Still, me and Orange Vanilla pimping me out.
That's fair.
To the BJs.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There's only one BJ left. The other two have died.
Have you ever done something like that where you go, this was supposed to be a holiday, this is actually a job?
Yeah.
Like North Korea was tough. Like it was a tough day. I walked the Great Wall of China. It's just a fucking wall, lads.
Yeah.
I didn't get excited about it at all.
What was it for though? Like, what I was asking my wife the other day. Why? Like, it's a lot of work to do that. But what's it? I
remember we were doing it. The tour guy said you can see the Great Wall of China from space. I said, well, we're not in space.
Yeah.
So what fucking difference does it make?
Yeah.
Because we walked for 3 hours on it.
Because we watched that film, The Wall, the Matt Damon film, and I thought it was like a historical representation of why the Great Wall. But then it featured dragons and all sorts, and didn't answer my question why someone in China went, we're going to build, maybe it was a Chinese Donald Trump, we're going to build a wall, we're going to make Genghis Khan and his boys pay for it, and we're going to.
I think it's got something to do with Mongolia.
I remember reading the thing once, again, could be an urban legend, could be true. It was this guy, it was like somewhere out in the fucking, obviously in America, because that's where all the freaks live, but this guy had seen someone's car had gone off, like a truck driver had seen a car gone into a lake. He pulls a truck up, it's like, fuck's sake, dives in, pulls the fella out and all, and he's like, saved the guy's life, and he's like, oh, you know, whatever, got the ambulance, got him taken off and dealt with, and then it transpired that the fella he had saved the life of was a serial killer. So he was like going, if I'd have let him die, like, how many people have I killed? Because, you know, and I remember there was a fight that happened across the street one time. I went over and sort of broke it up a bit, and I realised that the person that I'd kind of helped was the problem. Like, he was like, and I'm like, why'd I, you know? So now it's sort of like, do you get involved or you just leave
that
it?
Always enters my head too.
I did see one person walking towards the ground. I like the point.
Thought that'll do.
I didn't need to.
You just look over, sort it. See, I'd probably look bad if there's a boxer, a granny pass out the ground, you running away, right? You just smack her.
Walking to get your kids.
But was she like a spider? She grabbed your hole and then like a wee spider's legs. Did she like try to crawl in and put her finger up your bum?
She like, I'll do it to your knee here. She went like, she
like
really put her fingertips through the cheeks,
hole. Like nice.
Not into the hole, but like just like fucking. She really pierced the cheeks. Yeah, she had a fucking big feet, and I was just like, get me out of here.
And what did you do back? Just turn around, bit her head.
Yeah. I Zinedine Zidane headbutted her in the chest, just like that.
So in 2003, I went to South Korea because my brother was teaching English over there.
Okay.
As a foreign language. And it was just after the World Cup in South Korea and Japan 2000. It was just 20 years ago now. It's fucking 20 years ago. That's I was 20 years old at the time, right? So we go out.
That makes me a bit sad. So I remember that. Like when Ronaldinho, Ronaldinho loved Seaman. It's a weird thing
Ireland
to say.
lose to Spain in the second round on penalties. It was insane, man. But anyway, we go out. Now I went out over Easter, and my brother was teaching. So he was part of the, the British and Irish people that were all teaching English, and Canadians, and Australians, and stuff like that. And we went over. I knew nobody. Went over. My brother said to me, right, one of the days you come over, he said, we've booked just 20 of us all going to Seoul Racecourse. Now, I have no interest in horse racing. Never have. I don't give a shit about the sport. It doesn't interest me, right? But you have to dress up.
Yeah.
So I just got a shirt and trousers, and some guys were in suits. Not suits, but like, smart jackets and stuff. So we go to Seoul Racecourse. It starts at midday. It's boiling hot. We're in South Korea, and I'm watching horse racing. This is fucking mental. And I'm with 20 people, and I only know one, which is my brother. Anyway, we start drinking at 12 o'clock. Race finishes about 4 or 5 o'clock. We finish then. Everyone's a bit drunk, and we get the underground into a district of Seoul called Anyang. And when you're in Korea, you learn a couple of phrases like "안녕하세요," which is like you walk into a shop. Like you kind of when you walk into a shop, you kind of "감사합니다." You kind of like you have to just have certain routines.
That means open the till and give me your money.
Open the till and give me the fucking money now. But anyway, so we're going around Anyang, and there's a load of street food. Now, bear in mind, you're a group of 20 people, so the groups are split because people are pissed, right? And we're like the only kind of like Caucasians or Westerners in this area, so people are always kind of looking at us. Now, this is the time before smartphones. Yeah, you had a mobile phone, but they were the old flip-up ones.
Yes,
and you could take a picture, but it was mostly
pixelated.
It was but it was mostly the digital ones and all that, right? So this is 20 years ago. So one of the guys in the group, a friend of my brother's, a guy called Patrick Lenihan. He was a good-looking lad, but he also could sing.
Yeah.
And we're standing next to the street food van, we're getting kebabs or something like that. And he starts singing Seven Drunken Nights. You know that one?
Yeah.
As I came home on Monday night, as drunk could be, right? And we're all fucking I'm smoking fags. I'm fucking drinking Heineken. I am locked. But he sings, but he's a good voice, a good looking guy. And next thing, this big, massive American fella comes over. Now, you got to remember, in South Korea, the American army are actually based there. So there's a lot of, we call them G.I. Joes. Yeah. And these Americans are based there to keep the peace between the North. So this guy comes over and he's like, "Hey man, you can sing," And Patrick, being from Donegal, was like, "Yeah man, yeah." And then another guy who was with us just went, "That's Cian from Westlife," because Patrick had blonde hair, really good looking. But he said, "Cian from Westlife." I was like, just what's going on? And so the American was like, "Are you from Westlife?" And Patrick just went, "Yeah, I'm Cian from Westlife." I was like, 25 million albums? You're from Westlife? And we're all going, what the fuck is going on here? So next thing, this American guy just goes, keep singing. So Patrick continues to sing. And then he goes, "You guys, you all come to the club with me."
Right? The soldier?
This American guy says, "Come to the club."
He wasn't a soldier, or was he a soldier?
He was in plain clothes,
Right,
but he was telling us that he was a soldier. So there's about 8 of us now at this point, right? The rest are all kind of gone. We're all dressed up though. Yeah. So we told this American guy that Cian was in Westlife, and we're just his mates from Ireland, hanging out with him, while the band were in Japan on a tour break. Right? Yeah. We turn up at a nightclub in South Korea in a district called Anyang. We get brought in to a VIP area, and we sit down, and next thing the DJ announces in Korean that there's somebody famous here. And I shit you not, there was a queue of about 10 Korean women all wanting to have a look at Patrick. Yeah. And we're all sitting there going, this is fucking weird. Right? So Patrick is like, he's a good looking fella. Yeah. So next thing,
does he look anything like Cian from Westlife?
Not really, but he had blonde hair, and like he's in a suit. But eventually,
that's enough then, yeah.
No, but like when you're in Korea and there's no fucking social media phones, right? It's a very easy thing to get away of. But this American guy hadn't a fucking clue. So then we get a couple of beers, we're all sitting there. Patrick is there, we're in this like little VIP area. We're not doing anything wrong, really. But a couple of Korean people came up and like called Patrick out. We're like, people are saying you're in Westlife. You're not in Westlife. But then the American guy then figure out that like, this all happened within the space of 15 minutes, right? So this doesn't go on for a whole night, right? He realised then that Patrick was taking the piss out of him.
Oh no.
So we were all like, my brother just looked at me and he went, we need to just get the fuck out of here, man. Get the fuck out of here. So Patrick kind of walked out the side of the VIP area, walked up to the DJ booth, got the microphone off the DJ and just started shouting and screaming. We all legged out because this American guy now is fucking furious with us, right? The following day, this is the time of chat rooms. Remember chat rooms?
Yes.
Apparently, it came out in a chat room that Westlife were out in a nightclub in the district of Anyang in South Korea. And apparently, Patrick had been, a couple of days later, Patrick had got a message or something to say, like, that people were, like, saying, like, were you taking the piss out of Americans in a nightclub? And we were like, yeah, we were. For that 20 minutes, we just created this story. Mate, and we got like a couple of free beers out of it, but the American guy was not happy. Like,
and how often have you been like, well, this is the plan, but you're like you said, I'm going to war here. You're just like, this is the fun.
I've had so much like, this is the tactics. We're going to, my coach saying, yep, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, and I'm like, yeah. And then I get out there, there's 8,000 people or something. I'm just like, nah.
Yeah, and how often your coaches go, for fuck's sake, Aaron, what are you doing?
What the fuck was that? We're going out with big tactics, and then after you're like, what the fuck did you just do here?
You're okay?
Alright.
If you need to have a poo, you will, anything else that's happening in life, it's shoved to the side until you release the poo. Yeah. And you turn into a very angry, aggressive man.
And I get cross.
You're like the Incredible Hulk, but with shits.
Yeah. But
you know what I mean?
It's very
You turn
true.
brown.
And I'm on closure buff and I shit on the floor. And then it's like we make our sketches and they look good. Yeah. But then you do a bigger production. You've people are like, whenever I got COVID and got dropped from the TV show I was doing, they had a COVID specialist who like rang me, advised me what to do.
Dr. Michael McBride.
You know, and it was Dr. Christian. What's his surname? Nelson. Dr. Christian Nairn. Yikes. That'd be great. But yeah, it was just like, again, you don't realise these jobs are jobs. And
speaking of jobs, I need to pee 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
So
listen,
you just wrap up.
That's enough. Happy days. Thanks for coming, Fist Me.
Alright, brother.
Cheers. Take care. All the best.
I'm the sly guy.